Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we are honored to have with us the Center Manager of Gawad Kalinga, One World Singapore. Let's all welcome Miss Rina Marie Ananda. Hi, Miss Rina.
Hi, Grace.
Hi, thank you for being here with us tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, earlier in our show, we've been discussing about doing volunteer work and helping the community. And as we all know, Gawad Kalinga is one of the pioneer organizations that concentrated on endeavors like these. So, Miss Rina, what is Gawad Kalinga One World Singapore?
Um, Actually, it's a two-prong approach in the Singapore office. One being the regional hub for Asia, for GK offices and villages that have been established in Cambodia, India, and then as well as there's potential research in Vietnam. So, as for the second part of the office itself, the reason why the office is here is because we are also focused on research and technology. And because the work of GK is looking at long-term sustainability, Tito Tony Maloto, the founder, realized that's the strength of Singapore. And that is what we're doing now. We're working very closely with all the universities here, as well as a lot of the research entities and the multinational corporations.
Yeah. Okay. So, what are the volunteer programs of Gawad Kalinga?
Actually, we have quite a variation. The strongest being the immersion programs, where a lot of the schools partake for their overseas volunteer programs. So they will actually go to the communities and normally stay maybe within 10 to about 20 days. And really immerse and spend time with the community there. The other are the internship programs, where it's coursed through Nyan Polytechnic, NUS, SMU. We've had quite a few students who have joined us in the last 2 years. And of course, research. Tito Tony really believes in drawing out the expertise of an individual. So we again, through the universities, we have ongoing research programs, NUS School of Architecture, NTU, SMTC, water membrane technology. The other variations we have, of course, because there are 6 arms to GK. We have the education, we have the child youth development, we have the food and nutrition, the environment. So we've have ongoing projects that are going on. I mean, that's occurring all the time. Students have taken part in having to help not only advocate the work of GK, but raise funds for 150 plots of land for farmland for the community. So it is vast, actually.
Okay. When did GK started to penetrate Singapore?
We were incorporated in 2009. And awarded the international charities organization status the same year in July. So we've been in the work coming to 3 years already. And this year, in fact, we are taking it further and bigger, because we know that we have a very strong army of volunteers in Singapore. And I know that with that we can basically move forward really fast and furious also. Okay,
but Gawad Kalinga has been, it has been founded in...
The headquarters itself? The headquarters was founded in 2003. So they've been around for 8 years. We just celebrated the 8th anniversary, the GK Expo back in Manila, October last year.
Read about it. And in the period of 8 years, what have been what developments have been established?
Actually, considering the fact that in just 8 years alone, GK has a 21-year goal. And we've broken up into 3 parts of 7 years, and we're now in the second phase. So in 8 years alone, we've already impacted over 1 million families, be it through the infrastructure program and any of the other programs, environment, education. And that is what it's been about. It started with the infrastructure program, but now it has gone into a long-term holistic program of sustainability.
Because most people, when you ask them about Gawad Kalinga, their first impression is just building homes, and we know that it's more than that.
Yes, it is actually. Just expand a little bit on that. Yes, when it was incorporated in 2003, it did start with the community infrastructure program because for people to see the urgency of the work, to see the need that they can believe in this and that it's actually something real, it had to be something tangible. So it's nothing like seeing beautiful, colorful houses coming up, and that is how we started establishing strong partnerships and belief and in the work, and that is why we've moved really fast since then.
Okay, so the core workers of GK are the volunteers. So how valuable, how relevant are the volunteers in the programs of GK?
Exceptionally, I mean, to have moved as fast as it has, it is because of the volunteers. You know, be it whether they come from corporations, schools, you know,
Yeah.
or you know, anyone who wants to just come in and step in and help with the work.
Yeah.
GK doesn't do it on its own. It is multi-sectoral. You know, it takes
Mhm.
on the different arms from
Yeah.
the academic and with other NGOs, etc. So we value and honor them. I mean, if it's not for them, the work wouldn't have moved as fast as in furious.
Yeah.
So really, to us, they are the heroes.
The real heroes.
The real heroes.
Unsung heroes.
Yes. Right.
Okay. Now, what keeps inspiring GK in pursuing its goals, Ms. Rina? I mean, GK has been here for 8 years, and it has been successfully achieving its goals. But what keeps GK inspired to do it?
At the heart of it really is about the people. You know, the value of an individual, the realization that as per our tagline, Walang Iwanan means nobody gets left behind. No one deserves to be forgotten.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that is what keeps GK motivated and keeps GK from forging forward despite the setbacks. You know, you may fall, but you just get up and move,
Yeah.
because it is about the poor. It is about making it possible for generations to come, because
Yeah.
our focus is to eradicate poverty in this generation, so that generations to come don't get, you know, negatively impacted. And
Yeah.
that is our dream, and that's what pushes us forward.
Yeah.
The heartstrings.
Because you said it's a 21-year
Goal.
goal,
Yes.
and we are currently in the,
The
second
second phase.
phase.
Yes.
So we're just left with a few 7 more years.
Yeah.
And do you think all these goals will be achieved?
Yeah, I mean, the
Are you-
fact.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but it's
Sure.
true, because it started with a dream, and in 8 years, it's become real. A what if question has become to a point where it is going to happen. You know, it's
Yeah.
not what if we did this, but the fact is now when we do this, this is
It
going to happen.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, we finished the first 8 years. We're now into the second 8 years. You know, we just started the first of the second phase, and to have been able to advance into that shows us that it is something that's going to be lifelong. And even when even if GK is not there anymore, it is the people from the ground, the poor, the beneficiaries who are going to continue the work, because they have been empowered, and that's what the program is about: empowering and giving them the right to their self-esteem and own lives.
Okay, so you're positive that all the problems, all the issues of developing countries like poverty, all the issues in education, in the environment, this will be addressed by GK and by the people themselves.
I am, because I think if anything that stands out in the work of GK is really about the awareness of being each other's brother's keeper, for loving one another, you know, and being able to do so unconditionally.
Yeah.
And I think as long as people realize the importance of social responsibility, realize the self-awareness that it is beyond really self and putting yourself out there and making it about someone else, it is going to be a success, because it is not about the lack of resources, like our founder said. It is the lack of caring and sharing. And at the end of the day, it's not that the money. I mean, yeah, you need the funds to do the work, but the realization is simple: if where the heart goes, the pocket will follow. So just forge forward to help someone in need. Everything else falls into place, really.
Yeah. So now let's talk about the sustainability plans of Gawad Kalinga. So we have a few more years left. So what are the other things that you need to? I mean, you're focusing on.
Really, the second phase right now, because the first phase was about creating awareness, right, and having people see the urgency of the work.
Yeah.
So now the second phase is actually research and technology, and the reason why we reached this is because we realized that with this, it is what's going to allow for the sustainability to kick in, right? One simple example would be we've had an NTU team that went in, I think about 2 years ago, and they went in for immersion. But because they knew they had the expertise, when they were impacted by the work of GK, they came back trying to question how they could help better the situation. And they were in a rural area at that time, and they realized that water was an issue. So the professor, along with his team, actually started on their own looking into ways, and then they came back to GK. Now have come up with a water membrane technology, which they're going to offer to GK for free. to
Wow.
allow. Yeah, so it is actually going to be test bedded now, I think, in 2 or 3 communities. And the thing with GK is we don't allow it to impact just one, it has to be across the board. So if it works, we're taking it. So that is to us sustainability, that
Yeah.
people step in and help.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just an ongoing process.
Yeah, because most of the time when we talk of volunteers and all, they say that they are the ones who do a favor to the community. But apparently, it's not the case for
No.
most volunteers. Yeah.
I mean, the reality is this: when we help people, we always think we are doing a favor, and I think we're in a new age where that realization is starting to hit home. That you don't do it because you are going out of your way. You're doing it
Yeah.
because it is something that is within you, that is expected to. The kind of that whole idea of social responsibility is knowing that you have to look beyond yourself and the people who are surrounding you immediately. It has that realization that at the end of the day, the kind of life, and it is the message I put across very clearly when I work with the student groups, the life you lead, the one that we don't have to worry about waking up in the morning, not having food, not having shelter, worrying about where the funds are going to come for medication. And we are lucky because in that sense that the life we lead is not an entitlement, it is a privilege. And with that privilege, you end up stepping back and wondering, what more can you do? And not for self, but for others. And I think that really is the heart of the situation. Yes.